Welcome to Crafting Confidence, the audio companion to Kristy Coromandel's paper crafting tutorials, helping you create with confidence, one project at a time. Today, we're taking a deep dive into heat embossing. If you've seen those really elegant cards with the shiny, sort of raised lettering.
Oh yeah, totally elevates a project instantly.
Right. But I think a lot of crafters, especially when they're starting out, look at it and think, oh, that looks complicated.
Yeah.
You need special machines or some advanced skill.
Exactly. And that's what we want to tackle today. We're looking at the material from Kristy Coromandel, the paper crafting expert.
Right. She's the founder of Paper Crafters Academy, too.
Uh-huh. And her whole point is that this technique looks fancy, but it's actually surprisingly straightforward. It's a great way to, well, build that creative confidence she coaches on.
So the mission today is basically to break it down, show how it works, what you really need based on Kristy's guidance, and prove it's doable.
Yep. Turn that, ooh, shiny into, hey, I can do that.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. For anyone maybe not familiar, what is heat embossing? Like, what's actually happening there?
Okay, so basically it's a stamping technique. You stamp an image, but instead of regular ink, you use this clear, sticky ink.
Sticky ink, okay.
Yeah, Versamark is the main one. Then, while it's still wet, you sprinkle this special powder all over it, embossing powder.
Right, the sparkly stuff. Or, well, not always sparkly.
Exactly. It comes in all sorts, metallics, colors, white, clear. And then the magic part, you heat it up with a specific tool.
A heat tool, not a hairdryer. We'll get to that.
Definitely not a hairdryer. But yeah, you heat it, and that powder melts together, fuses, and creates this raised, glossy, permanent design right on your paper.
So it's like a tiny, controlled melting process.
Pretty much. It adds texture and shine, makes things look really professional, like on fancy handmade cards.
Cool. So it sounds like a neat little, almost chemical reaction you can do at your desk. Let's talk tools. Kristy's guides are clear. There are 4 absolute must-haves for beginners. What's in that essential kit?
Okay, first up is that sticky ink we mentioned, the Versamark ink pad. It's crucial because it stays wet longer than normal ink, long enough to grab hold of the powder.
So regular ink won't cut it?
Nope. It dries too fast, the powder won't stick. So Versamark is essential number 1.
Got it. And number 2 is the powder itself.
The embossing powder.
Oh.
Think of it as like really finely ground plastic or resin that melts when heated. That's what gives you the color, the shine, the dimension. Gold, silver, white are super popular to start with.
Makes sense. Okay, third item. This is the one people try to hack, right? The heat source. Why does it have to be a dedicated heat tool?
Yeah, this is critical. A hairdryer. It pushes out way too much air. It'll just blow all that fine powder right off your project before it even gets warm enough.
Ah, okay, so it's about the force of the air.
Exactly. A heat tool gives you less air, but much higher focused heat. We're talking like 300, 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You need that concentrated heat to melt the powder quickly and properly.
Right, melts it, doesn't blow it away. Okay, and the fourth essential, maybe less exciting, but sounds important. The anti-static powder tool.
Oh, it's vital. Don't skip this one if you want clean results. It's usually a little pouch or tool filled with like talc or a special powder.
And what's it doing?
Paper has natural static electricity, right? It just strikes dust, little fibers, and it'll attract stray bits of your embossing powder too. You get annoying little specks where you don't want them.
Yeah, those random shiny dots.
Exactly. So you use this tool before you stamp. Just swipe or pounce it over the cardstock. It neutralizes the static. Kristy Coromandel really emphasizes this, as a creative confidence coach. It stops one of the biggest beginner frustrations right there.
That makes total sense. Prevent the problem before it starts. Okay, so sticky ink, powder, heat tool, anti-static tool. Got the basics. Now, there was a pro tip in the resources from the Academy about using the heat tool.
Yeah, good one. It's about preheating.
Preheating, like an oven.
Kinda. Just turn the heat tool on and aim it away from your project for, say, 5-10 seconds before you bring it over to the powdered image.
Okay, why do that?
It helps the powder melt faster, almost instantly when the hot air hits it. If you start with a cold tool, the paper sits under the heat for longer while the tool warms up.
And that longer heat exposure causes warping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially on thinner cardstock. Preheating means quicker melting, less time for the paper to get too hot and buckle, plus it gives a smoother, more even melt.
Okay, that's a great tip. Speed is good here. So let's walk through actually doing it. 5 basic steps for a first-timer. It starts with that anti-static prep we just talked about.
Yep. Step 1, preparation.
Yeah.
Grab that anti-static tool and give your cardstock a good swipe or pounce all over the area you plan to stamp. Don't be shy with it. Brush off any obvious excess.
All right, surface prepped. Step 2, Stamping.
Ink up your stamp really well with the Versamark, and like the resources suggest, maybe start with something simple. A nice bold sentiment or a clear outline image is perfect.
Good idea. Don't start with something super intricate.
Right. Press it down firmly and evenly onto your prepped cardstock. Lift it straight up. You won't see much color, just that wet, sticky impression.
And you need to move kind of quickly now, right? Before
Right.
it dries.
Yeah, don't wander off for coffee. Step 3 is immediately applying the powder. Be generous. Pour or scoop the embossing powder all over that wet stamped image. Make sure it's totally covered.
More is better here.
Yeah, you can't really use too much at this stage. Once it's covered, pick up the cardstock carefully. Hold it over a piece of paper or a tray.
Like grid paper, maybe?
Perfect. Then gently tap the back of the cardstock. The loose powder that didn't stick to the ink will fall right off onto your paper.
And you can funnel that excess back into the jar.
Absolutely. No need to waste it.
Okay, so tapped off the excess.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are still little stray bits, right?
Uh-huh. That brings us to step 4.
Okay.
This is where you grab a tiny, dry paintbrush, like a little liner brush or maybe a small fan brush, and you very carefully just flick away any of those little stray specks of powder that are sitting near your design. Taking a few seconds on this makes a huge difference for a clean, professional look.
Right, get rid of the fuzzies before you make them permanent.
Exactly. And then comes step 5, heating, the fun part.
All right, the magic moment. How close do you hold the heat tool?
About an inch or so away, maybe 2 or 3 centimeters. Keep the tool moving slowly, back and forth or in small circles across the powdered image.
And you actually see it change.
Oh yeah, it's cool to watch. The dull, grainy powder will suddenly turn shiny and smooth and raised as it melts. It happens really fast, just seconds. Keep the heat moving until the entire image looks uniformly glossy and melted.
Wow. And then just let it cool?
Yep, set it aside. Don't touch it while it's hot. It needs a moment to harden. And that's it. You've heat embossed.
That actually sounds very manageable when you break it down like that. But, things can still go wrong, especially first time. Kristy Coromandel, as that creative confidence coach, includes troubleshooting, which is great. What are some common oops moments?
Okay, yeah. A big one is the powder flying everywhere when the heat hits it.
Right, like a glitter explosion, but plastic.
Kinda. Usually means you're holding the heat tool a bit too close. Just back it off slightly. Or sometimes you can try heating gently from underneath the cardstock first, just to get the powder to start melting without the direct airflow.
Okay, good tip. What about warping paper? We mentioned preheating helps, but what if it still buckles?
It can happen, especially with large embossed areas or thinner paper. The fix, usually, is to gently heat the back of the cardstock after the front has cooled. Just a quick pass. It often helps flatten it back out.
Counterheating makes sense. Another one. Sometimes the embossing looks kind of patchy, not solidly shiny.
That almost always points back to the ink. Either the Versamark wasn't applied evenly, maybe didn't press the stamp hard enough, or maybe your Versamark pad itself is getting dry and needs re-inking. If the base isn't sticky enough, the powder won't grab hold everywhere.
So check your ink pad. Got it. And the classic problem, those little unwanted specks around the main image.
Yep, the stray bits that melted where they shouldn't. That's almost always static. Did you really use that anti-static tool well enough beforehand?
Busted.
It happens. But that's the key preventative step. If you see those specks after powdering but before heating, that's your last chance. Use that tiny dry brush to flick them away then. Once they melt, they're stuck.
Right. Prevention is key, cleanup is the backup. Okay, thinking bigger picture now. How does learning a technique like this fit into Kristy Coromandel's philosophy about building confidence in crafting?
Well, she talks about stages in crafting. Stage 1 is often feeling intimidated, maybe just copying projects, a bit hesitant with new tools.
Yeah, I remember that feeling.
Heat embossing is kind of a perfect technique to bridge into stage 2. That's where you start feeling more adventurous, wanting to express your own style, try things that look a bit more, wow.
And heat embossing gives you that wow pretty easily.
Totally. It adds elegance, texture, shine, without needing like a die cutting machine or tons of complex layers right away. You can take a simple stamped sentiment and make it look incredibly professional with just those 4 basic tools.
So it's high impact, relatively low barrier to entry.
Exactly. And when you make something that looks that good relatively easily, that's a huge confidence boost. It makes you think, okay, what else can I try? It encourages more exploration, more playing with color and texture. Each successful project builds on the last.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about getting those early wins that make you feel capable.
Precisely. Feeling capable leads to feeling creative.
Okay, let's give people a concrete starting point. If someone's listening and thinks, all right, I'm going to try this, what's a really good first project?
The guides strongly suggest the embossed sentiment card. It's super effective and straightforward.
Okay, what does that involve?
Basically, take a panel of colored cardstock, maybe something dark like navy or forest green or burgundy. Then pick a simple sentiment stamp like thank you or happy birthday.
Right.
Ink it with Versamark, prep with anti-static, and emboss that sentiment in a contrasting powder. White looks amazing on dark cardstock. Gold or silver is also really classic and elegant.
So the embossed sentiment becomes the main focus.
Exactly. It pops right off the page. Then you just mount that panel onto a card base, maybe add a simple layer of patterned paper behind it if you want. Minimal steps, but the result looks really polished and impressive because of that shiny raised text.
That sounds totally achievable. And if people want to actually see that card being made?
Yep. Kristy Coromandel often features projects like this in her tutorials. The resources mentioned, checking out the weekly YouTube video or the Facebook Live replay where you can watch the process step by step. Seeing it happen really helps too.
Definitely. Visuals are great for crafting. Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, the how, the troubleshooting. We should probably mention the resources too. There's a call to action for listeners, right?
Yes, absolutely. If this has piqued your interest, there's a free heat embossing mini guide you can download. Usually comes through the Creative Drop email list mentioned in the materials.
Right, a little takeaway guide.
And often there are related offers like a discount on embossing powders in the online store for a limited time, just to help people get started with those essential supplies.
Perfect. So check out those resources linked with the show.
Definitely worth it.
All right, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final thought for someone who's maybe still feeling a little hesitant about trying heat embossing?
I'd say just give yourself permission to try. Seriously. Don't wait for the perfect project or worry about wasting supplies. Grab a scrap piece of cardstock, a simple stamp, and just do it.
Start small, aim for the experience, not perfection first time.
Exactly. The real magic is in that moment you see the powder melt.
Yeah.
It's genuinely satisfying.
Yeah.
So just try it, start small, and we'll literally let your creativity shine.
Love it. Great advice. Thanks for listening to Crafting Confidence. Visit KristyCoromandel.com for project photos, downloads, and more beginner resources.